Go.
Welcome to Movie the Podcast. That's right, Movie the Podcast. This is a week with no name, correct?
Yes.
Like just a bonus grab bag.
This,
for May.
you watched and reviewed a movie with no name because it's good when a movie don't give you no pain. But Morbius isn't one of those movies. Very painful. Nah, Morbius.
Hey, how'd I get here? I guess it was Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Why my stuff here?
Yeah.
Well,
We should team up.
We are all. Most of the beef is in the barn. No Alec this week, but we do have the host of everyone's favorite game show podcast.
Yes.
Prairie Home Companion.
That's right.
No, we're talking about, of course, A Vague Idea and Nasty Nate Regolia coming alive.
Hey, it's me. It's Nate. It's Rags. It's also Nathan that you all think sounds like a shithead.
I want to apologize for not knowing that Nathan is long for Nate when I declared that everybody with the name Nathan is an asshole.
No, it's all right. Like literally every Nathan in media, though, of the last 20 years has been an asshole. Like
Nathan for you is okay.
Nathan
for you was good.
Yeah, I like Nathan Fielder.
Yeah,
but I think the fact that his name was Nathan was part of the joke.
Yeah,
right. But like, because like Nathan on Euphoria. Nate on Euphoria is a piece of shit. Like, there's just a bunch of bad Nates going around. You know?
To go back to Sean's thing about Nathan's name being the joke in that, I thought it was a play on Nothing for You. Like, because it's like a 5 on your side kind of show.
Yeah.
Well, that's a very deep reading.
I don't know. Anyway, maybe not.
I've heard the Nathan used as like a sound alike for nothing before in like rap songs and shit. So maybe, in the rap music.
So, I feel like nothing. So I think it works.
It's good to have you, Nate.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Nate, like a real lunatic, watching Morbius for fun. So I was like, "Can you at least get on the show so it's not all for naught?"
Yeah, I listened to you guys talking about it, and I saw it on the Plex, and I was like, "Fuck, I gotta take this ride," because But you know, not to bury the lead, but like I really hoped that it was going to be like interesting bad, and we'll get to that. But
we'll get to it.
It is the worst kind of. Well, it's kind of interesting in the fact that it's so incoherent.
It's fascinating how something could be so bloated, disjointed, but also like just so plot just free. Like there's like it's like it's like
plot free is the greatest way to describe
it's like the cotton candy of movies. Like it's voluminous, but at the same time, it's just
but if it was cotton candy that was all just somehow like dough on the outside, but still nothing on the inside,
like a thick cotton candy.
All right,
like a cotton pudding.
God, all right. Well, before we get into our feature presentation,
which we loved,
let's see what y'all watched this week.
Hey, Gogs, how was Nonstop, you prick?
It was awful. I did watch it. I want to let everyone know. I had watched Nonstop. I have so many problems with that movie. Did they talk? They blamed him for 9/11. Like that was their whole ploy, but like they maybe I guess targeted him specifically because the cops found his truck and it had evidence in it. And then like, what was the plan and why? That movie is just. They used a dart gun.
Yeah,
effectively. They used a fucking blow dart gun.
Yeah,
in like they like triangulated like how he could have clipped everyone from what seat.
No, it was in the bathroom. So now the blow dart had a direct...
they had a poison glory hole.
Yeah, right. Was that what that scene was supposed to show you? Because there was one scene where he looked behind that hand dryer and I thought he was having a flashback. And I was like, oh, is that like a parallel dimension to this?
That's like a being John Malkovich.
Nonstop is like a 2 or it is trash. It is like have we seen any good, what's a good plane movie? Because Executive Decision was bad.
Top Gun.
Nah, and like most of Air Force One was not great.
I would say Top Gun doesn't count because
it doesn't all take place.
It's not on a plane. Well,
your options are airplane, which slaps, snakes on a plane, which slaps.
Red Eye, I remember Red Eye being okay, but I also haven't seen it since it came out. So
yes,
I've never seen. Well, what happened?
I can't remember.
Oh, okay. So anyhow, there's Red Eye, there's Nonstop, there's Executive Decision, and there's Air Force One. And I want to say there's one more plane movie.
I mean, there's got to be
snakes on a motherfucking plane.
No, I named that. That one slaps.
Oh, okay.
Shout out Cobra Starship. But anyway, that movie sucked. I hated Nonstop. I tried watching everything everywhere all at once.
Yes.
And I need to finish it because stuff like seized up on me. So instead, I just said, well, what's the closest thing I can find to that movie? All right, I'll watch Graveyard Shift. And that movie sucks. Like the plot contrivances of Graveyard Shift
thematically similar.
Just like it's like there's this like a textile mill that's supporting an entire like main town, and it's full of rats for reasons. And then you've got like a psychopathic like ex-Vietnam vet exterminator. But like the boss has just got that like can't go down that rod like kind of thing the entire time. It's bad. Like we gotta get the cotton pick down in the basement, but it's full of rats and water. Gotta send someone down there with a tanker and a bunch of lights. Dig up all these old boxes full of bills and make some of these chairs. Oh no, giant bat! Like it was bad. Like, I don't know if it's the worst Stephen King movie, but it's really, really, really bad.
I'm shocked we haven't done a Stephen King month.
Yeah, you guys should do that because it will be as torturous as anything else.
That'd be great.
Stephen Spring.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah.
We get a whole year.
Yeah.
We get a whole
year for that one.
Anyway, that's all I watched. Sean's going to say NBA playoffs. So, Nate.
Well, no, I actually watched a movie in addition to the NBA playoffs. Equilibrium again.
Hell yeah.
Oh, nice.
That movie fucking rules. Like, I'm like, do I hate stupid movies? And it's like, no, I love stupid movies. Like, as long as there's shit going on.
Dude, Gun Kata?
That movie fucking rules. And I think I was especially shocked because I think me, TJ, and Alec watched it and turned TJ around on it because he hated that movie prior to watching it last time.
It was fun.
I love that movie.
Because it's dumb as shit.
They take that emotion pill, but the bad guy, just chock full of emotions.
Yeah, they all are.
They all love them. They're all, like, everything is an emotion. I was watching it because I was listening to, like, a Chapo episode where they were reviewing it. And they brought up something I didn't think about where it's like, wait a minute, like, how do they not know what dogs are? Because there's that scene where they're like, what are these things? Are they going to eat them?
The part where he like was running down the hall, and he like kick flips an M16 into his hand or something.
Slices Taye Diggs' face off with a sword. That movie fucking rules. It should, like, it's probably the best movie ever made.
Is Rufus Sewell the bad guy in that one?
No, it's Angus McFadden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like the British Rufus Sewell.
Yeah, but no, Equilibrium rules. I stand by that. Nate.
3 things.
I
I watched a Spanish film called Relatos Salvajes, which is Wild Tales. It's like a group of 4
I remember that
vignettes.
Years ago, right?
Yeah, like 2014. Yeah. It's all these just weird ass situations, like 2 guys getting like a road rage incident and then like beat the shit out of each other and then ultimately blow each other up. The guy gets a parking ticket.
I was kind of hoping the up wasn't going to
I was into it, and then I'm suddenly less into it.
The laugh line at the end of it is they blow themselves up, but the cops show up and they're like, oh, they're in an embrace in this car, so we think it's a crime of passion. They must have like been in love with each other.
So
there's like a wedding thing. It opens with something that almost feels like Amazing Stories, like that old Spielberg show that was on.
Yeah,
where you're like, oh, this could be really interesting. Because it's just a bunch of people who all know the same guy, and they're all in the same airplane. And then they're like, oh, the guy that you know has just taken control of the airplane. And then he's going to crash it into his parents' house and like kill him and all these people that he doesn't know.
Based.
Yeah,
and
it's like
that man's name was Esteban Darko.
I don't know. It doesn't like get any better from there, unfortunately. Like it's not bad. It's just sort of like, okay, I don't know. It's just
I
people
remember
doing
when it
people
came
shit.
out. It was there was a couple of people like critics that I listened to that said it was really good. I forgot all about it, to be honest.
Well, you remember, like, right around that time, it's when, like, Spanish cinema kind of blew up over here. Like, I think Time Crimes came out around the same time.
yeah.
And, like, yeah.
Time
Yeah,
Crimes.
this is like, I was hoping for Time Crimes level interesting with this, but none of the stories got there. It was just sort of like, oh, okay, it's people being upset about regular upset stuff, and it's a little over the top, like, but it wasn't enough over the top. Like, I wanted Lovecraftian shit to happen or something really wacky. Didn't get it. I also have been, Jenny and I have been watching Under the Banner of Heaven, which is on the Hulu. It's about the John Krakauer book. It's got Andrew Garfield in it, and it's about like Mormon fundamentalists in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
Murdering people.
Why I think it was about Afghanistan.
You're thinking of, I don't even know.
The Kite Runner?
From the title, I just thought it was about China, and I feel like that's racist.
Oh. So how are the Mormons?
It's really good. I would recommend watching it. Like Andrew Garfield's great in it. The whole thing, like the cast is stacked. It's like really, it's interesting. It's also very much like, oh, hey, in 2022, all of our media stories are about like white guys becoming religiously fundamentalist and doing the same shit that white guys do right now that no one answers for. So it's a little bit like, I don't know. It's fun, but it's also kind of bitter when you're like, hey, they want to take away their wives' rights to make their own decisions, and so does everybody now. That's fun. But that's a good watch. And then otherwise, the last thing I watched was The Wiz, the
hell yeah,
the Wizard of Oz remake with Michael Jackson and Diana Ross, which was fine. Like the music is good, but it drags so much.
Well, it's a fucking stage show, right? So like,
it's because it's Sidney Lumet who directed it, but it doesn't look like a director with
did
an
he direct
understanding of
anything
directing
else?
did it. Yeah. Like it feels, you know.
Shut up.
What did you direct?
Sidney Lumet directed Dog Day Afternoon and a bunch of other shit. Like,
yeah, that was
Dog Day Afternoon's
that was
a good.
specifically the joke he was making.
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this could have been interesting because it's like it's like a Dog Day Afternoon Wizard of Oz, like mean streets, blaxploitation Wizard of Oz. And I don't know, like the music's good, but it doesn't really, it felt like it was filming a stage play often and not filming it well.
You know how much I hate that.
Yeah.
You guys love plays. You like when movies are just plays.
I don't want any plays in my movies. Keep them very separate.
Yeah, like just keep plays somewhere where I don't have to deal with them like ever.
Yeah, exactly.
The theater.
Yeah, the theater.
Anything else, Nate? What are you looking?
No, that's it.
That's
So yeah, TJ,
Sharon Stone.
TJ, real quick before you go, can we talk about the death of our human culture with this fucking Obi-Wan show? Like when Nate said something about Andrew Garfield, just made me think of like, hey, Hayden Christensen, you're the worst actor in the world. Do you have anything to tell the people?
Yeah.
This is where the fun begins. Like, I can't. Like, there are 15 Star Wars shows and movies in production right now. And, like, I could not, like, I was texting TJ the other day, and it was like a 7-year-old one of us made a monkey paw wish. It was like, I want everything to be Star Wars. And it's like,
the turkey's a little dry.
Right. It's so bad. Like, who did I send the picture to where it said they employed a Darth Vader movement coordinator on the set?
Movement expert.
Expert.
Darth Vader expert.
Some guy, it's a guy that they just go, well, actually, Darth Vader, when he moves his lightsaber and shoulders come up a little bit closer towards the pitch of his helmet. Like, this is where we are as a species. And, like, I'm glad we're almost done.
Yeah.
Like, on Earth. Yeah. Because, like, well, I mean, we'll get into it with Morbius, I'm sure, but like, does anybody have any desire to watch anything to do with Star Wars anymore at all?
Yes, but not me, because I see it's all.
The question was for the room.
I see people talking about it all the time, and I'm just like, I cannot relate. Like, I don't care, like, at all. You know,
I am like extremely checked out. Like I will do it just because I pay for Disney Plus and why not? I need something to put on from 10:30 until 11:30 after I've played Elden Ring for 2 hours. Like I have to come down off of panic attacks.
Makes sense.
I'll just like watch that shit. But I could just as easily watch Simpsons reruns and it would be fine. Like I don't know. I was kind of like intrigued by the Obi-Wan thing, but you're saying that they're like Hayden Christensen says that line is Darth Vader.
No. He was at one of these like you know how they don't
interviews.
It's like
like a press junket
for TV
thing?
shows. Yeah. One of those like celebrations where it's like, hey, we're releasing Lego Star Wars soccer or whatever.
Yeah, they had some big Star Wars party. Everybody? The guy that played the Emperor was there, and it was really cringy. Like I can't think of that guy's name, but he's got to be like pushing like 80.
Oh, he's very old,
and like he's just churning out the freaking Palpatine lines, and it's like
he's just out there like Hillary talking about Pokemon Go in 2016.
It's just gross. Like, and the thing is, like this Star Wars stuff, it's like if any of these things were good, I'd be less. But it's all just like the only thing they want to do now is just regurgitate crap. Like,
it's like it's all written by, it almost feels like it's written by a really like efficient algorithm. Like it's not like technically bad. A lot of the stuff, it's just like, here's this and that. And
let's talk about how like the sequel trilogy, like the most recent 3 movies had Oscar Isaac in them. And
which I totally forget.
Oscar Isaac for 3 movies, right?
I still haven't seen the third one.
Neither have I.
You could have had Oscar. It's terrible. Don't waste your time. It's
the fact that me and Gogs have not seen a Star Wars movie should tell you pretty much everything you need to know about what's going on with that fucking property.
Yeah. Well, and that's you just hit it. Like it's a property now. It's no longer anybody's creative dream. It's just this prints money. Who do we want to have come in and print money with us this week?
Yeah, it's turned into Assassin's Creed.
I think my thing too that I get really annoyed by is that like Star Wars fans like buy into it. Like I saw these people talking about how they were excited that Hayden Christensen's coming back. It's like, bro, he sucked. He was the punchline to like every like Star
Remember
Wars
how he ruined the prequel movies? Why would you want him back?
So now you're like all excited because he's coming back. It's like because that's the slop they're feeding you, and you're like, yes, I love Star Wars.
I can't believe you're eating this tripe.
I love the Star Wars. Yeah,
you got to remember too. There's a lot of people that did grow up with those movies that defend them, and then those weird late in life prequel defenders that are maybe happy about that stuff. But it's like
but those are the same people who are defending George W. Bush now. See, there is a parallel between Star Wars and American politics. Like it just all gets worse, and we keep going like, oh well, it wasn't so bad 20 years ago, and it's like no, it's been garbage for a long time. Like,
anyway,
I don't understand what is like. I don't get it, man. Like it's so bad. It's just boring. Like again, we'll talk about it, I'm sure, at length soon with this this just crank a thing out because it has a thing attached to it and everyone will watch it for whatever reason. But it's just like, I could not be less interested in something that I used to like love.
Yeah.
But it's
because it used to have a certain like, there's preciousness and there's headcanon, right? Like when something exists in small quantity for a long period of time, it becomes important to you because it's isolated and then it grows into the things that it means between you and your friends. Like Star Wars was about me and my friends talking about Star Wars more than it was about Star Wars. And now Star Wars is about just infinite undermining of every conversation we had, right?
Well, it's like, hey, we're experiencing Star Wars inflation.
Yeah, there you go.
We talk about it all the time. It's a universe. Like they can do literally anything, and it doesn't matter because you have to watch it because they own like all of media now. And we're still like, we'll just do Darth Vader. You guys like that, right? Like, I guess.
Yeah,
What if
let's
we
not
make
try
up
to
another
like
yeah.
new characters that people are going to identify with? No, just keep bringing out the classic.
Like I was reading a plot synopsis of one of the Obi-Wan episodes, and it's like he goes to rescue a 10-year-old Leia, and I'm like, nope, good.
Out. Ugh.
From what? She was a princess. She should have like royal guards and shit.
Who knows?
Who cares?
All right.
She stole one of those silver ships and went on a joyride.
Steve Organa should have been on top of that shit. Like, hey.
Jimmy Smits.
Jimmy Smith.
Does that mean Jimmy Smits is going to be in it? Because, I mean, that could be fun, right? He can LA Law.
Just the whole cast of LA Law, yeah.
Yeah.
Nate, you watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, right? Recently?
Oh, yeah.
I've not finished it yet.
Okay. Did you liked it, yeah?
Yes. Oh, I loved it.
Okay.
It was fucking fantastic. Yeah.
Right.
Gogs, you're gonna love the rest of it.
The part I saw so far, 2 thumbs up. So
yeah.
All right.
This trend continues.
You're literally gonna get infinite hot dogs up from here.
I got usurped by Sean's Star Wars question.
Well, I said before. I didn't say in place of. Go ahead.
That's not a true usurpership.
Yeah.
I watched one thing this week.
Better be good.
And it was the first Taiwanese movie I've ever seen, I think.
No.
I can't think of any other movie that was made in Taiwan. Not that I know of anyway.
So Google us.
Please make as much noise as possible when you put stuff down. That doesn't get picked up on the mic at all.
It sets the mood.
It's fucking obnoxious. This is what it is. Anyway, I watched a movie called The Sadness. It's on Shudder. It's also on the Plex. This movie is touted as one of the new gross out, you shouldn't watch this around certain people's kind of movie that's been passed around on the internet for the last. This came out in 2021, but it didn't come available to stream for till a couple of months ago. So again, the reputation of this movie is that it's hyper violent and disgusting, and again, it's in that gross out canon where
like a Cronenberg type thing.
That or more the kind of contemporary stuff I don't know, fucking murder set pieces, a Serbian film.
Okay.
That kind of gross out shit where it's people don't want to watch it because it's been banned and all this. So this movie, The Sadness, it's a standard kind of zombie movie. But the trick first of all, it's a clear analogy to the coronavirus this time. But this time the coronavirus basically is a mutated form of rabies. So it's kind of like a 28 days later thing. But then here's the fun part. Is anyone here familiar with the comic book Crossed?
Yes.
By Garth Ennis?
No.
It was something he published through Avatar Press. Basically, the Crossed was his kind of Walking Dead, except his twist on it was the Crossed, the zombies. They didn't really eat brains and stuff as much as they just were they were primal humans that would murder people and fuck people and do all this horrible shit. That's
just humans.
That's this movie. They literally just wholesale just stole the I can't imagine how he couldn't sue over this because the similarities are it's crazy. So anyway, yeah, it's a zombie movie where the zombies are horny, and it is very gross. It's very bloody. There's sexual assault depicted, and it's pretty disgusting. On the plus side, I think it was shot really well. The storyline is basically non-existent. Can you stop scrolling? It is really distracting.
No,
it's insanely distracting.
I was looking up Taiwan.
Anyway. The movie isn't all that bad. I didn't think it was great, but I thought it was worth a watch. And if you're trying to watch something explicitly because you want to be grossed out by its horrific violence, well, they deliver on that. Because it is very gross. And there's some really disgusting situations in the movie. But overall, I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was great. It's somewhere in the middle of the road. I think there is a good movie in there because the plot is basically this boyfriend and this girlfriend, they get separated, and then they try to, in the middle of this chaotic zombie outbreak, they try to find each other. That's your entire plot.
Try to make it small.
But the idea is, there's a couple of, because the zombies, once they turn into these rapist zombies, they can still talk, and they can still, communicate and stuff. And there's this like kind of drop line where like the one of the zombies gets killed and the zombie's like, you're just like me. And like there's like something interesting there, but like it's literally one line and they let it go. And then there's this character later on that's like a doctor and he's trying to cure everybody, but he seems more evil than the zombies. It's like you're scratching at like a movie there. There's like something in there.
Wasn't the Crazies kind of that same plot too?
Yeah, kind of.
Well, and Shivers by Cronenberg is pretty much the same thing.
Definitely like that. But yeah, it's not terrible. Again, I am shocked if this doesn't get. I don't know how this doesn't get some kind of lawsuit against it because it is just that idea. Like it's crossed. But it's on Shudder for free. I would watch it. I'd recommend it, especially if you want to gross people out. This would be a great movie to just put on in the background of a party where you want to scare everybody about. Because it's pretty good.
That gross?
It's pretty disgusting.
Like relative to other, like say relative to Possessor.
I mean, it's grosser than Possessor. I mean, Possessor only has like a few scenes that are like. This movie is pretty much all gore. Once it starts, it's just disgustingly gory the whole time.
What's that movie you hate? That Mexican movie where the kids fuck each other or whatever?
Yeah, that movie, was it called In My Skin? Or no?
Something like that.
It was very bad. Yeah, it was awful. That was really, really awful. I think my little article about it is still on the website. I can't remember what it was called, but it was We Are the Skin, maybe?
We Are the Flesh.
We Are the Flesh, yeah. It was fucking terrible. And then the best part of that movie was the twist where it's like, oh, they were in our world the whole time. It was like, oh my God.
What?
It was.
They got into the Speed Force and they came here.
Yeah, no, they were in this, like, the plot of that movie was that they were these two, like, it was a brother and a sister, and they were in this weird sort of, like, I don't know, like, some kind of post-apocalypse, living in this building, like, barely, like, surviving off of, like, weird food that they found and stuff like that. And they, if I remember correctly, they worship this guy as a god, and then that's where all, like, depravity comes in. But then at the end of the movie, you find out they're just in some rundown apartment building. You're like, what? Why?
Oh, so it's like The Village?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's just outside Philly.
It was so bad.
So there's not really an apocalypse?
No.
Oh.
No, that was the whole thing. It was just, I don't know. I guess they just were in there for, like, whatever.
For reasons.
Also, that's just flowers in the attic, right? Like, everything's ripped off at this point.
Yeah. Is that the one where the guy gets the chainsaw and the wood?
It's an Aerosmith song, isn't it?
Hollywood Squares.
Tom Bergeron.
Brother of Middle-West.
All right. So we got to get into Morbius.
Super Morbio Brothers.
Before we get into the movie proper, though, Nate, what are you doing? We have to do this. You decided to jump in.
You don't have to do this. You do that. This is self-inflicted, and I'm allowed to join in on that.
We got warrants. This is like a whole public.
No, but I mean, like, and I respect that. I'm glad you're on the show, but you did this.
Wait. TJ, did you just imply that the point of Movie the Podcast is the A-team? Like you're all on the run from stuff that you did, and you're just doing this because you have to make up for it?
I cannot confirm nor deny that, but yeah, that's the idea. We're Sean is.
You guys need to use that as a theme song. You got to rip. You just got to rip it off.
He's Body Man.
Oh, he's just Body Man.
If we need to catfish girls on Tinder, we get him to
his face.
Yeah,
that's
the point.
Yeah. I guess you're Hannibal Smith.
Absolutely.
Because Alec is B.A. Baracus.
No, that's you, buddy.
Oh, Alex
the goofy guy.
Alec is the wild man. What's his name? Howling
Murdoch.
Murdoch?
Yeah,
Murdoch.
Yeah. Mad Murdoch.
Wow.
Yep.
Fair enough. I'll be B.A. Baracus any day.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
I think I was all beef. Scared of water or planes. One of the two.
Both.
Water?
I think water is something that you've heard coming out.
What was BA afraid of? Like they don't like chloroform.
He didn't like helicopters. He didn't like flying.
It was plane. Okay.
Yeah.
Water.
Gogs, what happened in Morbius?
Jesus, what didn't happen in Morbius?
Why did Morbius? Like, why?
Here's my big problem.
Can we talk about the weird time jumps in this movie?
Can we talk about how convenient that cliff was to land a small helicopter on?
Well, the helicopter was fake, so it didn't matter.
But then he breaks out like a harp trap to lure all the the bats were asleep, so presumably you could have walked in there with a snow shovel and just knocked a bunch off the roof.
Nate, I texted them I was literally 10 seconds into the movie, and I'm like, I'm already pissed at the font for this title card.
Yeah. This movie is 18 different people's idea of what the movie was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that's part of why it's garbage, because they were all mailing it in the entire time too. But I don't know. Okay. There was a whole
storyboarded by text message. Sorry.
There was a whole hubbub about, Jared Leto's being a shithead again on the set of Morbius. And I was like, oh, well, at least maybe he will deliver a Joker-esque performance in this movie. Right. And instead it's no, it's literally Jared Leto just kind of being Jared Leto for 90-ish minutes and occasionally turning into CGI vampire face. It's
morphs a little bit.
Yeah, he morphs.
It's boring as fuck though. He's not weird. He's not interesting. He's not doing anything. He doesn't even seem believable as a person who has read about the concept of science. He's just around stuff. It's I don't know.
Well, anywho, Michael Morbius decides. Doctor. I'm sorry.
Dr. Michael Morbius has something that is definitely not AIDS, but is a blood disorder that makes him crippled?
Well, his goal was to extract whatever the biological anticoagulant is in a vampire bat's venom, I suppose.
Venom.
And so it leads you, using the sort of the syllogistic method, you walk it backwards, and he needs to uncoagulate his blood. So is he just thumping ragu through his veins? What's going on? And then a whole lot of movie happens, and there's some science. But at the end of the day, you're left with a guy with a blood problem that jams himself full of bat juice to become sort of akin to a vampire. But then later, when he French kisses his dead girlfriend, she springs back to life. So now you've created actual, mythical vampires.
Yeah.
Also, Moriarty's in it. And that's it. That's the movie. The movie's trash. They go back in time. So Michael Morbius is friends with a young Doctor Who, but he doesn't respect him enough to call him his actual name, to the point where this kid goes through his entire life and his one primary caregiver all call him by the wrong name because Dr. Michael Morbius, who can fix a very simplistic pump with a pen and can talk to machines, decided to call him Milo forever.
Yeah, you guys might know more about Morbius than I do.
We don't.
Okay. Is he a forge in the comic books? Some kind of technopath? Okay.
No.
I kept making forge jokes the entire time we were watching it because he's just talking to machine. He makes a centrifuge, something you can buy on Amazon out of an old $100 bill machine and a bike motor.
One of my favorite parts of the movie where he goes to a counterfeiter's warehouse and he's keep the science stuff.
Drop the gun, leave the cannoli, or take the cannolis and leave the science stuff. And
here's science stuff are out of printing press.
And what doctor is going to prescribe you several ibuprofen for many bones in your hand being broken?
And the stinky pinky.
Right. That's a technical term. How insufferable is this movie?
There are bad Marvel quips, but there's also okay. Al Madrigal and Tyrese Gibson are in a similar movie.
This is going to go
but I don't
long.
know why.
Al Madrigal is the very bottom basement requirement to be considered a comedian. He's the guy that won on 4th on Premium Blend, and got the shortest segment.
The guy that
he was on the Daily Show for a little while as a correspondent.
Oh,
Like he wasn't even on the A list.
And I think he was like the Mexican correspondent or something because the Daily Show was doing that joke back then. So he was I'm Hispanic, so I can do this joke.
Even their stupid quips are bad, and like they double button one where it's like his blood was, what do you call it, exsanguinated? Well, you don't exsanguinate blood because exsanguination is like the loss of blood, so the body would be exsanguinated, not the blood. Like I looked it up. Also,
the blood bled to death.
Yeah, Tyrese Gibson and who's the other guy? No. The guy. No. The guy that also plays that same bored black cop role in every movie is Tyrese and
Mike Epps?
Not Taj Gibson. That's the guy that plays for the Knicks. Fuck, what is his name? He's the one in Equilibrium.
What the hell is
Taye Diggs.
Taye
Diggs.
Yeah. Like this movie, like everybody in this cast feels like it was like the third person away from the person they actually wanted, like the Puerto Rican Dominican love interest, sorta, is like the Ava Mendez / Rosario Dawson, like all the way down the chain until they got to her. Also, she says Nobel Prize, and they
the Nobel Prize.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. She also, if you look at the wiki, she based her performance off of Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez.
Excuse me?
Like, that's what she said. She said she based her depiction of the character off of Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. She was like, I want to be a strong... Yeah.
She was to be an AOC.
Yeah. So she was doing an AOC thing. Look, there's like...
I didn't pick up on it.
I don't understand why Tyrese Gibson and Al Madrigal have parts in the movie. There's really no reason to have a procedural in a movie where they don't solve anything.
They know everything there is to know about Dr. Michael Morbius, including the fact that he likes to fold paper.
Yeah.
Why?
They're just following him around as if that's a way to validate and
at one point they're like,
look, they didn't have enough movie here.
At one point they're arresting him for something. They have they've literally no evidence against him at all. They're just like, oh, you're coming with us. And then he decides to morb all over the place and fly away. Like, what the fuck?
Also, like this movie's like, what's that game Heavy Rain where it's like press X to Jason, but it's like press X to Michael, because they say the name Michael 10 billion times in this movie. Somebody's always going, Michael!
The implication that he can hear everything all the time at the end of the film when she's just like whispering his name, and then he's like,
he's got that detective vision or whatever.
Well, he does, yeah, but even that had its limits in the Rocksteady games. Like, this was like, what was the scene? Is it implied that Matt Smith was on the roof when he got arrested because the wind showed up and half knocked him off a building?
I don't know.
I don't understand what happened there.
I had a minute-long diatribe to TJ about the idea that he's riding the pressure gradient in the front of a subway somehow. I also got very upset with the lighting design of that one hallway, because that's not how occupancy sensors
he's
work.
Talking about the nurse that gets got by Matthew.
Dude, why is the most colorful scene in this movie in a subway tunnel, like below ground?
Yeah, they're in like a 70s supervillain, like home-based subway tunnel. Like, what is going on?
There is also like several hilarious cuts in this movie. Like, there's a part where Dr. Michael Morbius is like contemplating looking at like the bridge or whatever, and then it just cuts to him like inviting his girlfriend to dinner, but he's at the same like what?
How much footage do you think there is of this movie? Because it feels like they must have shot 27 hours.
Miles of it. It's like Apocalypse Now.
Yeah,
like there's a whole like shipping container of footage just sitting somewhere on a lot at Sony. Like, this movie.
Can we talk about that scene for a second? So when he finally morbs out, he's on this boat. He decides to get this experimental procedure, like I guess in international waters,
13 miles off the coast of Strong Island.
But he presumably hires a bunch of mercenaries and then proceeds to murder them, and it's like fine because the one was a jerk to the girlfriend. Like, what?
And this is our hero.
And in that scene, she says Michael dozens of times quietly through the glass, as if while he's transforming into a vampire, that's going, Michael, stop. Michael, don't turn into a vampire. Please
But
don't
also-
morb. It's like, what the fuck?
Why did he hire a team of mercenaries on this boat anyway?
13 miles off the coast of Long Island.
Nautical mile.
Nautical miles. But like still like pirates?
I
Like,
told
what's happening?
I told Nate while I was watching it that this seemed like a bad Infamous DLC with all the fucking trails and shit, but like it would be like a bad free one, like the Halloween Vampire Edition.
Oh,
The
visuals in this movie are so bad.
Is the aesthetic supposed to be so dark because it's a vampire thing, but like no vampire rules are ever like engaged in it? So like, why? Or is it just to cover the bad effects? Like, the Agent Smith Neo fight at the end, like there were parts of it I legitimately couldn't see. You just hear Matt Smith and his weirdly fat jaw like laughing, and I'm like trying to triangulate him on the screen. And I literally couldn't do it.
There's also one point where the girlfriend is reading up on vampire lore. Which
Yeah.
is like what? Like what the
She just needed to have a big book like The Devil or whatever.
Right. So we still got to bully our way through the plot. We haven't really.
Oh, shit, we're not done?
Here's the plot. Michael Morbius like sucks out some bat juice, jams it in himself. He gets weird, but then he tells his boy who's suffering from the same blood thickness that he is, and he's like, "Bro, I figured it out, but I can't give it to you," which is like the dick move of all dick moves, actually. And then Matt Smith takes the juice himself, and then he sucks a bunch of people when he pins it on Morbius. Then Morbius morbs out, and they fight all over the city.
Gogs, why does he arbitrarily figure out that like his fake blood won't work anymore? And doesn't that raise questions about all the kids?
What about all the
who have
fake
this
blood he's been
disease?
handing out? Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Like, are they just gonna like seize up? Like, what?
I just don't. I think it's just it don't taste good no more. Like it's just.
I like how to Matt Smith's like, well, that blood doesn't work for me. Well, how would you know?
It's like my kid. You just wouldn't try it. You gotta try it to see if you like it.
No.
But it's just like, and then they find like you get like a CGI like string bean Jared Leto. You get like the Dallas Buyers Club body, and then he gets all jacked and beefy, and then Matt Smith takes his shirt off and has this really weird
There's two dance
alone dance. Where's the second dance number?
The one you're talking about, but he dances as a vampire in the subway.
Oh, that's right.
What's the song? It's just like having sex. Like,
Yeah.
Sucking on the dudes. But that's all it is. And then he's just like having at it. And the movie is just like I was telling TJ while we're watching it, like the movie, this feels like the second movie's plot. Like this shouldn't have been the first movie. Like the first movie should have just been Michael Morbius morbing out. But then by the end of the first movie, Milo is like, hey, wait a minute, you're morbing? I want to morb. Right. And then the second movie, the teaser, the stinger is him like, grabbing a vial and like jacking off.
The biggest problem with this movie is they act like, like Matt Smith and Dr. Michael Morbius say it a couple times where they're like, we've unlocked this thing and we've been vampires. Like they've been having this burden of being vampires for so long. In the movie, they've been vampires for like 4 days?
Like 36 hours. It's amazing they can evaluate whether this is a curse or not that quickly. Like,
why is their Dr. Loomis like exactly the same age, even though they've aged like 25 years?
Why would Dr. Loomis waste an untold amount of blood for 25 years? They were getting 3 full transfusions a day, according to a young Michael Morbius pre-doctorate. Like the amount of blood that's run through these guys for the purposes of
Well, this movie also has a real problem with like not only the kid Jared Leto but the adult Jared Leto is that they're both so unlikable, and I'm fine with a movie where like the protagonist is unlikable if that's like a plot point.
That's the idea, yeah.
Right, but it's like it's not really addressed, nor does he learn anything.
No, like like everyone else reacts like he's the greatest.
Yeah.
Like everyone loves him.
Well, it's weird because like this movie, I think it feels like they want to make Michael Morbius Tony Stark, and it just doesn't work because he's they don't communicate it very well, but like you're led to believe that like he's a celebrity. Everybody knows Dr. Michael Morbius, but like nobody cares.
They just won the Nobel Prize.
Yeah, the Nobel Prize.
Also, that scene where he's like, "I am Venom." Like, Venom's in San Francisco in the movie universe, right? Like,
was he making Venom a joke?
Like a national? I think he was supposed to, because in that scene in the trailer is different. It's like, I'm Venom. And
yeah,
then he goes,
in the trailer, he's like, "No, I'm Dr. Michael Morbius."
Yeah,
like, they cut that out of the movie. I don't know why.
Like, why?
Was there anything cringier though than him walking into that room and being like, "Is this the part of the movie where the guy in the hoodie kicks everyone's ass?"
The printing press again. By the way, because he heard two guys trying to
pass hundreds at a fucking diner.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And then like they go to the guy's laboratory, where someone is hand drawing every counterfeit bill. Like, what is going on?
I'm sorry, I know I brought it up earlier, but I can't get over the take all your stuff, but leave the science-y stuff. What possible science-y stuff are at a printing press?
They're at a,
Yeah, they're not even making, like, it didn't even occur to me at first that they were, I thought that would be the scene, right? That they have a lab with, graduated cylinders and whatever.
Have a drug lab in this movie?
That's why I think they went with, that's why they went with counterfeit. They're like, what's the PG-13 drug lab?
Yeah.
Counterfeit bills.
Yeah, but it's like, it also has the problem where it's a movie that's like very blood dependent, where there's almost no visible blood, which is like so incongruent to the point of being distracting.
They made it R-rated, it wouldn't be any better. This movie's trash.
Well, like if somebody had a vision for this to be a horror movie, it could have been interesting, but it's not. It got marketed like it was going to be.
If you had him stalking his doctor girlfriend the entire time and you can't figure out what's going on, then the big reveal at the end is he's been Morbin the whole time.
You need to make him a character.
It should have been him he should have bit Matt Smith on accident. Like, Matt Smith's heel turn doesn't make any sense at all anyway.
No.
They're just a couple of rich boys that are for some reason getting health care that no one else gets absolutely for free. And they wander around the city and I was most struck by the extras walking by them while they were sort of crutching their way down the street.
Yeah, there was one girl with bangs that were literally her eyes. I could not stop looking at that girl.
Because she was in 6 different cuts because they kept resetting her. Like, no, you walk through here because this movie's terrible. You need
But shout out to those ruffians that beat the shit out of a crippled kid to death.
Well, they're Greek, so that kind of tracks.
Yeah.
Take that.
But just nothing in this movie. None of the plot follows from anything, right? This feels as much like magnetic refrigerator poetry as a superhero movie can go. You're just all right, throw what we've got up there. Cool. A vampire. Great. That's interesting. That's an interesting superpower. Do we know? Do they know canonically about vampires, or are they discovering?
Oh yeah, we're not real sure about both.
That. That's the other problem. It's both. They seem to know what vampires are, but they also don't. They don't talk.
Everyone is surprised and not surprised at the exact same time.
So he brought those vampire bats. He just grabbed them up. And they were just regular ass bats.
There's regular vampire bats.
I think a better movie. He goes and it's this is the cursed tomb of blah blah blah.
Yeah,
and there's
that would be stupid and not realistic.
right, yeah.
But they went to Transylvania and they were like, "Hey."
Gogs brings it up at the end of the movie where he's like, "But they're just regular bats. He's flinging them around and Kamehameha and bats at fucking people at the end of the movie."
It was just mind controlling bats.
Also, a weird choice to release a movie in present day where the plot revolves around getting something from bats, because that's gone really well lately.
Yeah, right.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a bat kata movie post COVID.
Well, this is to get the bats back in the good graces of the humans.
Oh, okay. This is a bat rehab project.
This is a bat rebrand right here.
All right. Well, anything else you want to talk about before we get to five?
Why did they make this movie? What is? And how do you not have Blade in here at all?
Did any of you watch the post-credit scene?
Yes.
Is it just okay? Did I miss? I saw the one where Vulture flies in with the mask on.
I think this has something to do with Spider-Man.
I hope the food's better. Well, can we talk briefly about the insane news story that they report that, like, hey, this just in, some guy appeared somewhere he wasn't supposed to be. There's going to be a trial, though. I'll talk to you. It's like that Futurama where everybody's stupid, and they cut to the news. It's like, the train crashed today, but the mayor lady said, I'm going to send more trains in there. Like, it's like, what is this story?
Well, the news report did something weird. It's like it's like officials aren't saying anything, but however, we now know that 8 people are dead, and Dr. Michael Morbius was on there, and also he was conducting illegal experiments, and maybe the FBI is telling us that this is a different killer.
It sounds like you know an awful lot for them.
We're not saying for no comment. Also, presumably the captain was murdered as part of the group of gunmen that were walking around on that boat.
Well, I do love that the is it Tyrese or Tay Diggs? I can't even remember which guy it is. Tyrese is like, oh, he killed officers. Now this son of a bitch is mine. Like, now they care all of a sudden like, because some cops got. What are they going to do? Not stop a school shooting?
Hey.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're right though.
Those colors don't run.
They're certainly not going to do it now because they got more schools.
Like, but seriously, no, I know this is like a setup for a Sinister Six thing, but Morbius isn't even part of the Sinister Six, right? Like, originally,
good guy, right?
Yeah, he's not even a villain.
So,
but it sounds like Vulture wants to team up to do some good. He says to team up and do some good.
But is this Vulture from? Is this what universe is this?
We don't see Michael Keaton's face for a reason. Right? Because Michael Keaton's like, I will record this in my bathroom, and that is the end of my collaboration with this fucking movie.
This is in the Sony-verse, and I guess they're saying because of No Way Home that he got teleported to
his home dimension. Shit show up later, or did he make that while he was there? Also, how much money does Casio have these days? Because goddamn, if he doesn't look at that fucking watch.
That watch is easy.
I had that watch.
I mean, the watch is fine.
You're not a noble doctor.
Also, this movie has like the worst drip of any vampire movie I've ever seen. Like, I don't know what's going on with Matt Smith's like stripe on ensemble. Also, he is horrendous looking as a human being. Like, what is going on with his face? It looks like he has some kind of like cheek prosthetic.
Yeah, he's got like a bone disease.
It's not good.
He looks like Rocky Dennis from Max.
I'm gonna go to fucking England and clean up because those dudes are struggling.
We all know Matt was struggling.
The skeleton wants to jump out of the body.
All right.
I wish I'd come up with the cure for bonitis.
5 knuckle. I'm dying over here. I'm morbing too hard. 5 knuckle shuffle time. Special guest Nasty Nate Raviolia. Go.
Oh man, like this is a 0, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not. There's nothing sexy that happens. There's no action sequence that's like, oh well, that at least was worth it. Like I was here. Like I sat through. This is an 1.5 hour long movie that feels like it's 4 hours long. Doesn't have any coherent thing happen in it for 1 second, and it is boring as fuck the entire time. And honestly, like, with the exception of Jared Leto, I felt bad for every person in it because I was like, man, you're like acting in this and you thought this was going to be a movie. And it's not. Like, it's shot poorly. It's so bad. Like, they cut to Matt Smith being sinister post-morbing of his own. And he's like, it's in the middle of the day and it's just him like leaning in a doorway, looking ominously. And it's like, what are we trying to say here? Because the language of cinema is not happening. Like they are not using movie correctly. they just,
you're doing movie wrong.
It's worse than just like if a 5-year-old just like did crayon drawings of Fever Dream and you put it on the fridge and like that would have been a better version of this movie.
They storyboarded this with sidewalk chalk. Like this movie is just ugh.
Yeah. It's just trash. It's horrible and rightfully so. And unfortunately it's not like no one listening to this should watch this movie under any circumstances. It is not so bad it's good. There is no point where you go, oh, great. This is just stupid enough that I'm enjoying it now. It just continues to sort of like hold. It's an anchor. It's like it's just you're attached to a depth charge that never goes off, so you don't even get the release of exploding underwater. You just have to slowly drown.
I'm trying to see how much this movie cost versus how much this movie made. What do you think this movie cost? It didn't
60?
make... Okay, let's see.
No, it costs like 100 and something.
It had to be over 100.
Probably
right?
140, I would say.
I put in budget, not budget, but it's okay.
What is the budget of Morbius?
The wiki always has all that shit.
So, hold on. God,
You're bad at the internet, man.
I'm terrible at this right now. Well, if I put in budget, so that's not helping.
It's just
$75 million budget. So,
what was the box office?
global
10.
haul 126. So,
The hit.
is it though after advertising and everything? You don't think it's double up?
I mean, it had to make the money back in memes by now, right?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. It's more than time. All right,
It's all
Nate, have the
NFT money. I'm gonna pass it to Gogs. Gogs.
It's 0. All the things you said as eloquently as you said it, I would like to repeat, but I shan't. It is the most. It is. I've said this. I feel like a lot on Movie the Podcast, but like I don't know if I've ever seen anything this unearned. Like there's just like everything in this movie. You're like, why? Like there's a scene where he's on a bus that his would-be girlfriend just gets on as she's running from the cops, like apropos of nothing. There's no reason he would know that she was on that bus. And unless he can bamf, like it doesn't make any sense. It's a broad daylight. So, he wasn't morbing all over the place. He just happened to be there. Like the whole movie is just like scene after scene of you going, why? And to what end? And then somehow his tube of science bats turn into like every bat on the eastern seaboard. Like, and his sound vision makes everything misty for some reason. And over the din of New York, he can hone in on a singular heartbeat on some disco skylight on a building that, judging by as they punch their way through levels and levels and levels of Mega City 1, is impossibly tall. This movie's dumb. And Jared Leto is confusing. Like, because I know he can do interesting things, but this is just like awful. Everyone's awful in it, and I hate it. It's a 0, TJ.
Well, it's a 10 on the Morb scale.
That's true.
I mean, it's a 10.
Oh, I'm going on Rotten Tomatoes and giving this all the points.
Yeah, it's a 10 on the Morbius scale. No, this is a 0. It's fucking horrendous. Nothing makes any sense, but it's also not incompetent enough to be funny. It's just competent enough to be boring. But like, I think the thing is that, and we've brought it up kind of several times already, but like this feels like a assembly line movie. They're like, we have all the elements of a movie, but like no style or substance. Like, oh, people like ramp ups and slow downs. Like, there's no real reason we have them here, but they're there. Like there's no like real visual aesthetic to like Morbius. Like, I don't know what what identifies him as a character, right? Like, I was thinking, I don't know why I thought of this immediately, but like I was thinking about Spawn, right?
Yeah.
Like Spawn he looks kind of generic, but he's got the huge cape.
To the big
and like there's stuff that you can like if you think of like any good established character, even like half-ass characters, like
they have a look.
There's also something you would identify with, like what is, besides being a vampire, like what is Morbius? Like, I don't know, a doctor.
He's a doctor of blood diseases.
Also, like when Dr. Michael Morbius morbs out, like he doesn't speak or talk or seemingly have any like cognitive function, but like Matt Smith is fine and like talks and seems to be in complete control. Like it's a fucking mess. Also, like you know, again, like they act like they've been vampires forever, both of them, Matt Smith and Michael Morbius, but like they were vampires for, again, like maybe a week.
Yeah, they're trying to pull like Highlander or Interview with a Vampire level like conversations about this, like
it doesn't work.
The effects of living with this curse forever and the eternity of never dying.
Like Matt Smith being like, you know, we're proud of who we are and all. Like, wait, what? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, what? Like that works. I mean, see, again, like if you actually had somebody sit down and like write this movie, like have them become vampires, and then you do the time jump where like Matt Smith's been like the murderous vampire for like 40 years.
Yeah, but I mean, have it happen in the 14th century or some shit. Like have them go deep.
Like having like if you, again, it's still not it's not a great idea, but you have Matt Smith be the awful vampire for all of his hundreds of years of being a vampire, and Michael Morbius the entire time is still trying to figure out like a cure. That is,
or maybe he thinks he's killed what's his name, and all of a sudden dudes come back.
I mean,
you mean if there's like stakes?
Yeah, give me something other than the fact that like, you know, he's a genius and Matt Smith is just, I don't know, horny,
angry at the world.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It also the sequence,
two people you don't care about doing nothing.
Aside from the cripple kid getting beat up, which was hilarious. That scene could just be cut completely. Like those kids were obnoxious,
unnecessary,
and like kid Michael Morbius. Oh my god! Like, ugh. Also, there's a Dracula mouse flying around New York,
potentially.
Like, they inject the first the mouse. The mouse was fine, and it
died, and then it popped back up.
Oh shit! Maybe that's how you get to Duckula. Maybe that's what's next.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Or did anybody when they were a little kid read Banicula?
Hell yeah, Banicula.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Sucked on them tomatoes.
Yeah,
and a cabbage somehow.
Yeah, that was good shit.
Doesn't make sense.
But yeah, this movie fucking is awful. I was really hoping, like, I will say something I didn't get to talk about that I want to talk about a little bit. I do love the fucking meme potential of this movie and like how like this movie has just exploded in the meme sphere, and apparently like. The movie is trending now, and like it's kind of.
I read an article where they think it might get a sequel greenlit because of memes.
I love it. You know what? If like shit's all stupid anyway, let's have fun with it.
Yep, this is late stage capitalism at work.
Yeah.
Why not? This is the vote for Sanjaya of movies.
Bro, like, just like the fact that shit posting is like affecting major Hollywood productions is pretty wonderful.
It's kind of great. It is meme magic. Like, you know. But anyway, the Morbius memes are like the greatest thing right now. Like that somebody like made that Gran Turismo. Like what the fuck? It's so very creative. Sean, you're the last guy.
Oh, it's a 0 for me. This movie's like a fucking war crime. Like I don't know, man. Like I don't know who watched this when they finally like finished stitching it together, like that Buffalo Bill suit, and they're like, yeah, let's put it out. Like bury the movie at this point. Like just don't even bother with it.
It's like a lost film.
Bro, it's like
delayed. It got delayed a bunch too.
Yeah,
it was like a lot of post work.
It's like everything that's
like it's like stitched together. Like
it
feels like this.
The whole movie was done in post. Like
this feels like what I thought New Mutants would have felt like. This feels like a movie. Like if you told me this had a trouble production and they had to like. Stop halfway through and be like, yeah, that makes sense.
It tracks.
Dude, Morbius is the movie that people told you Constantine was when that came out.
Yeah.
Like,
that movie
this is like Wagons East. If Jared Leto died in the middle of the movie and they were just like, we'll just use what we got of him.
Or like it's a movie that you would see in a dump bin somewhere after Jared Leto got famous. Like it's featuring Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Like this is literally everything wrong with like modern movies. Like it's boring. It's for no one. Like it's got it's like what TJ said. We got all those parts of movies. It's like we've got ramp ups and face morphing. Those are kinds of evidence. Like it's just like literally. I could not see most of the movie, and like I mean that's probably a good choice, but. Poor fucking Roy Thomas, like, as soon as the credits start, it's, like, written by Roy Thomas. His old ass probably, what? No, I don't want to be associated with this. I made the Vision. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm so done with superhero movies at this point. Like that, like it makes it even worse. And
Yeah,
like,
but Blood and Thunder's or Love and Thunder is going to be fun.
I mean, who cares? I don't. Like, I mean, I really don't.
do.
Bro, I saw that trailer and it was like Natalie Portman, the fucking charisma vacuum that she is. It's like, I killed my first bad guy today. It's like, oh man, they kept that in, huh? Like, part-time. I just like, after watching Everything Everywhere All at Once, which they made for less money than this was made, it's like you can do over-the-top, wacky fucking sci-fi movies and have fun and like be interesting. And it's like, I was fighting like my soul to pay attention to this movie, and I still like had a hard time with it.
It was impossible to pay attention to this movie because the movie doesn't pay attention to itself.
It's a slog.
Yeah. No, just the movie's like Everything Everywhere All at Once is being things with passion. And this movie is passionless, which is a real crime considering how much like vampires are about fucking, right?
We got another review.
Speaking.
Wait. Oh yeah.
Alex texted
a review. But that passionless is a great that's a great way to describe it.
Yeah, you brought this up like earlier too. It's like this is the least sexy vampire thing, and like if you're gonna hire Jared Leto, who's not like my cup of tea because he's kind of twinkish, but like at least make it kind of sexy.
Well, yeah, you would think you would lean into him being changing his personality with, like, in ways other
like black silk shirt that's open all the way the whole time, like in the promo shit. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Yeah. Like lean into what you think people want this to be, and they don't.
Anything.
Yeah. There's absolutely
like God's brought up that bus sequence, and like not only the logistics of it are terrible, but he's just like, "Hey, it's me, Dr. Michael Morbius."
Dr. Michael Morbius.
Like I got a hooded sweatshirt. Like it's like okay. Go ahead, TJ.
So I got Alex review. It starts off by saying Sean sucks. He doesn't get to complain about movies anymore after picking this absolute abortion of a film.
Hey, pause.
Really pick it.
Yeah.
I picked it. I'll take that.
Did anybody think that like Morbius wasn't going to be the choice when you brought that up? Like, how could it not be? It's our whole ethos.
It's really my fault though.
Oh.
Jared Leto is a cancer on film. Matt Smith should just stop acting. More like this is a good one. I like Alex really bringing the thunder on this one. Matt Smith should just stop acting. More like Doctor Who keeps giving this guy work.
That is a good one.
Jared Harris should be Jared embarrassed about taking this role. Wow.
Who's Jared Harris?
He was the
There's Moriarty, right?
He was the doctor dude that was taking care of him.
Oh, okay.
He was in Mad Men and a bunch of stuff.
Ardia Ajorna is terrible in this, but gets a pass because they give her absolutely nothing to do aside from being a generic Hispanic person.
Same.
Yep.
Daniel Espinosa is a horrific director. So far in his career, he has made like 50% of one of a good movie. Seems like the kind of guy you would want expanding your universe on your biggest property. Fuck this movie. Fuck everyone involved with it. This is like 15 9/11s, but I'd still rather watch it than nonstop. I don't think he actually gave a number score though.
I can
said 9/11, so that's a pretty high score.
9 out of 11.
I'm trying to think. What's the good movie? What do you make? What was Life? The half a good movie?
Oh, he made Life.
Yeah, he directed Life.
Oh yeah, isn't that tied to this universe?
Is it?
I think it is.
Is that supposed to be the Venom symbiote?
Yeah. I thought so.
That was like a rumor, but I don't think they ever confirmed it.
But like Venom's fun. Like I'm pro. You know me. I'm in the pro Venom camp. Like, why didn't they make this like stupid and campy? Like or anything. Like literally anything.
They could have made it They could have made it a horror movie. They could have made it stupid and campy. And instead they made the like blandest, like it's fucking Flanders nachos. It's just cottage cheese on cucumber. Yeah. It's like
non-flavored ice milk.
Unflavored for me. This director also directed Tom Hardy's Soviet banger Child 44.
Oh, this guy's a returning champion.
Yeah, we watched 2 of these guys' movies. Oh,
that was a way better movie than this. The first half of that movie was actually kind of good.
Yeah. Maybe that's what Alex referring to.
Yeah.
All right, so that's Morbius. We morbed it up. We morphed it up for the memes.
Yeah,
this will probably be our most popular show if I put it out in time.
Yeah,
before this meme burns out.
Yeah, gotta ride that meme wave, baby. Mm-hmm. Just like Dr. Michael Morbius riding the wind that a subway generates.
Why is that Casio watch so prominent? Like, what is that supposed to tell me about him?
He's had it since he was a child,
right? And go on.
That's it.
It means he's still connected to Matt Smith as a sibling.
He's frugal.
Right? So, like, all of the emotional weight of the movie is riding that watch.
Well, the very end of the movie, like where they're like having that, like he jams Matt Smith in the heart, like it's fucking Pulp Fiction. I look at TJ, I go, "Am I supposed to feel anything?"
Well, what about when he's doing his big fucking no over Congressperson Cortez?
Yeah.
It's fucking like I'm like, wait.
Oh yeah, his father. Yeah, I was telling the teachers like his father. So his father figure died. And the guy, as his last words, like, "You must stop him." I was like, "Well, bro, I was going to stop him anyway. Like, I was mid stopping him, and now I'm here for your ass."
Also, like, Matt Smith's plan up to this point was for to convince Morbius to join him, but then he just fights him for the whole movie. It's like, wait, what? Like,
isn't it weird that this is another Spider-Man movie that revolves around a fucking blood transfusion like that? Like, why are we doing that again?
Yeah.
Anywho,
what's this going to cost me? A boat?
What's next week?
What's June?
We should have asked Alec. Nobody remembers.
It wasn't June Claude Van Damme, was it?
No, that was
Stay tuned next week when you find out the theme when we do.
Hey, you're not gonna do the one I suggested. I texted this to Gogs months ago, but you should do June Diane Raphael and just do all movies she's been in.
What, like that?
How many times can we watch Year One?
4?
Then we'd have to watch. We'd have to watch. We could also watch. What's her husband's name?
Why don't we just call it June No and just watch all Diablo Cody's movies?
Wow. Okay.
Nate, you got anything to promote?
Yeah, you can check my podcast out if you want. It's called A Vague Idea. You can find it wherever podcasts are sold.
It's way better than this podcast.
I don't know if that's true. It's just a different thing. But yeah,
the first time I've heard that there's other podcasts.
We've got somehow almost 500 YouTube subscribers, which is like insane because who listens to podcasts on YouTube?
Most of them is the FBI.
That's as many as the Riddler had in the Batman.
Oh wow. we should blow up some levees.
Yep.
What about June Buggy and it's just all bug movies?
June Buggy, I like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'll have to.
What about Juneteenth and we just do vampire movies again?
Oh shit!
All right. Well,
but that means you have to
cannibal movies. Because we could
cannibals.
Yeah, we could finally watch. What's that movie I love?
You love a lot of movies.
The one about the cannibals.
Cannibal for Rocks.
Ravenous.
Oh.
All right, so yeah, tune in next week. We figure out what the hell the theme is because Alec is the keeper of the theme.
Here comes the June.
Here comes the. What the hell is that?
And absolutely movies where people show up.
So not this movie specifically.
Show up.
I'm looking forward to year 25 when all of the movies with dudes in them.
Where people. I want to try to find a movie where no one shows up.
Yeah, like
okay. And like, what constitutes showing up? Like,
I mean, I guess the big Kahuna, right? That would be the guy never shows up for the meeting.
We're just gonna watch Waiting for Guffman.
Show up in the movie. Like that's what I'm trying. Like define showing up. Like, is there one character
crossing a threshold?
Oh man.
It's just a still camera shot out of a room, and then like 2 hours later, it pans to the director, and he shrugs. That's the whole movie.
Oh, good times. Yeah, surprise next month. Oh,
I don't remember. I'm sure we have
people show up.
Nate, thanks for joining us.
Thanks
for having me.
Trying to watch some movies where people show up in them.
Yeah. I can't wait. As soon as I know which ones you're going to watch, I'll watch them too.
Oh, wonderful.
That might be the funniest thing anybody's ever said on this show.
People show up.
What was even the name of the theme? Show up, June. Here comes the June.
Here comes the June.
That's an even congruent to the theme. Oh, fuck. Oh, god damn it.
Here comes the June.
Oh.
And it doesn't even work.
It doesn't.
No, it's not even like
Here comes the June. They show up.
but like it's not like Here Comes the June is a play on like a
What's it? Here comes the
phrase.
boom.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know, whenever anybody shows up to anything, somebody goes up, here comes the boom. Oh, fuck. I gotta go. I'm gonna die.
everybody.
Good night.
Your own ass.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
God damn. Listen to a vague idea.